Welcome to the Fruitful Faith Women on Mission podcast. This podcast is created for purpose-driven women just like you who crave more. On the Fruitful Faith podcast, you can expect Christ-centered conversations that will help you to cultivate a life that you and He love. We'll be talking about topics that matter, topics that impact your everyday life. We'll talk about anything from how to transition with grace, to what to do when you're overwhelmed, to how to be content and joyful right where God's got you. It's going to be good. Let's dive on in. Hey, welcome back to the Fruitful Faith Women on Mission podcast. I'm so happy you're here. Thank you so much for choosing to pop in your earbuds and listen in today. I'm Alexandra Cavell, if you haven't already met, a master certified professional life coach for Christian women and founder of Grace-Based Christian Coaching. So today I figured there's so many people, as you might imagine, that are interested in pursuing coaching, but it might be a new or different concept. But I know with it being near the start of a year, it's just something that's especially intriguing. And so if that's you, if you've ever kind of considered it before and now you're ready to maybe take it a little bit more seriously, but still have some question marks, let's talk about that today. What I've done is I've taken some time to pull out on some different just surveys that have come up, some questions that clients have had about concerns for coaching. And I thought, you know what? I bet you guys would love to maybe hear that too and hear how they would be addressed. So this is going to be, super casual and informal in a way. I'll just share out they're 12, the top 12 questions and what responses I would give to you if you were to sit down for coffee or sit down for a clarity call and have a conversation. So my hope is that it gives you insight, whether coaching, specifically coaching with grace-based Christian coaching, is a fit for you. And maybe it is, and that's awesome. And I cannot wait to work with you. And maybe hear more and you recognize, oh, something else could be a better match. And that's okay too. My intent and heart is for you to get the type of support that you need to be most successful in living out your life in a Christ-centered way. So that's what we're going to do today. But before we do that, I just wanted to remind you guys that there is a goal setting podcast series. And so if you've not already listened to it, or even if you have, maybe now is a good time to go back and tune in. It's so good. It was such a strong way to start out this podcast. Some of my favorite episodes, you guys, they're episodes 2 to 12. And so we'll talk goal setting at top tips on faith, family, fellowship, career, finance, fitness, how to overcome obstacles. So if you want to just get jump started in this new year, that is a great place to do it if you love listening to podcasts. So yeah, check them out. Check them out. All right. Well, with that, let's officially dig in. So we're going to talk, what are the top 12 questions that I've heard before around concerns with coaching? And no, too, if your question that maybe is front of mind right now isn't answered for whatever reason, just shoot me an email. Seriously, I will respond directly to you. gracebaskedchristiancoaching@gmail.com. All right, let's do it. Okay, friends. So the first question we have here is, it's some are questions, some are statements, is I'm worried that the strategies won't work because they're counter to my personality. So what I would say to this is that coaching is custom to you. I don't have a series of questions that I ask every single person. It's adapted, the type of question, the approach, my style of how I connect with you, depending on who God created you to be. Again, my heart is for you to get what you need out of this experience. And sometimes that means that coaching can look a little bit different client to client. So we'll dig into any specific concerns that you have and address them too during your clarity call. And I will say that we'll talk about the grace-based Christian coaching method in a moment. That overall method is similar, but maybe the way or the how I'll go about doing it as your coach can look different depending on who you are. The other thing I'll add here is that coaching, a lot of people may have the question of, how is coaching and counseling different? And I've heard it said that coaching, it's action oriented, it's future focused. So we're looking ahead, whereas counseling is looking backwards. It's looking to the past and healing to get to a healthy current space. So That's a little bit between the difference there, but even more so, one other option that sometimes people can confuse with coaching is almost mentoring. So if you're looking for someone to give you, let's just say certain sharing their experience, giving specific advice, things like that. That is more mentoring, I would say. Coaching is more of an empowerment process. I'm going to ask you um, deep, deep questions that facilitate a connection with you and Christ so that you can be empowered and equipped to navigate in just a different way. And so there's a lot of freedom in that. And there's a lot of ownership in that. And that is what creates significant and lasting change. Okay. The next question is I am also concerned that this will take hours away from what I could be working on when I could be working on other things. So, hey, maybe the concern that coaching is a time commitment, it's going to take away from other things. That's true. Coaching is a time commitment and it is going to take you away from other things, but for the very best reason, right? It's going to get you to be able to focus on the right things, what truly matters. Put your time and energy there. It's going to help you begin to say no and simplify. I always like mentioning that too. Coaching is not always adding on, sometimes it's taking away or figuring out what is not value add in your life. And if you stop doing some things, then what, right? What could that make room for? Coaching, it's going to help you get further faster. And, it's going to stop you from running into these same challenges again and again and again, and just give you that good, solid foundation for all other areas of your life. It's going to help you to operate in the healthiest place possible. Okay, another one is the concern that I won't set big enough goals or that I won't give myself enough grace as I meet my goals. Ooh, this, especially the second part, is a common one. So that you won't set big enough goals. So we can kind of talk about that because there's a lot there, right? Like, what is a big goal? Who's telling you what is or isn't a big goal? What would be big for your life, right? So there's so much that we could even dig into with that concern right there. And know that as a coach, I'm here to challenge you. I'm here to help you think in ways different than you might normally. So maybe even some of the questions that I could ask you, or, stretching you in certain ways. We want you to, so there's a really awesome, simple, I guess, kind of diagram that I picked up back in. I've also got a master's in HR development, about 10 years of experience in the corporate space. And there's a really awesome, simple diagram that talks about overwhelm. And so it's 3 kind of circles within one another. The first one's your comfort zone, the second one is your stretch zone, and then the third one, the biggest circle sort of, is overwhelm. So we don't wanna be hanging out in our comfort zone, right? There's not growth that occurs there, it's not really beneficial. It might feel good, but we don't wanna look back in our look on our life and say we were hanging out in the comfort zone the whole time, right? The stretch is where we wanna be, and that is the sweet spot that coaching works with. Overwhelm, a lot of clients, right, it might, and I've been there, and have to challenge myself to not be there a lot. But we can so easily want to play in the overwhelm zone, but that's not where we operate best. That's not where we're most effective. And so, as your coach, I'm going to help you to play in the stretch zone because there's so much impact there, right? So, yes, so I'm going to challenge you so those goals are big and appropriate for you. And then within reason, right? The grace piece is so big. It is so, so big. So part of what is built into the coaching process is reflection and celebration and recognizing what is happening because there's so much power in that. There's so much power in the pause. I truly, truly believe in that. And there's a resource that I'll recommend to most of my clients as we get started, and it's on the topic of humility. Um, and this is maybe a big statement, but So many of us have almost a God complex. We think we should be it all and do it all and get really, really down on ourselves when that doesn't happen. And that there's just moments where we just need to simply be reminded that He is God and we are not. We're not supposed to do it all. We were not created to be completely self sufficient. And that is definitely something we'll dig into with coaching as well. Okay, the next one is I have a nagging voice of doubt that and fear that I won't make the changes I desire or discern what I hope to, despite your support and guidance. And I so appreciate this one, how honest it is, right? Um, Gosh, that is so good. And that is my aim too, that I'm creating a space for you and we work together that you can be completely open. It's a judgment-free zone. Just lay it all out and let's make sense of it all. So, what I would say to this one is that there's so much accountability built into coaching. There are worksheets that you complete at the beginning and end of each session. We'll dig into those at the start of a session, knowing that you're going to meet with me weekly or every other week or every few weeks, right? Knowing you're going to have to come back and share and talk progress and get curious about what is working and what isn't and why. And we get deep into what doubt is about, getting curious about why is this coming up, what is behind this, what is this telling you, and instead of maybe being fearful of some things, just using it as a tool to get to wherever God has you next. So just know so much is built into the coaching process there. Okay, I'm a little bit nervous because I have never done anything like this before, so I'm not quite sure what to expect. And if that is you, you are in good company. I would say probably 90 to 95% of my clients are completely new to coaching and the experience. They don't know what it's like. They don't aren't familiar with it. So just don't let that hold you back. I love the phrase trust the process. This is a proven process. I've worked with dozens upon dozens, even in a group coaching setting, I guess we could say hundreds of clients before. Like this works. Have hundreds upon hundreds of hours of training and experience as well too. So just know you are in good hands. And even the ones not even the ones, most of my clients who start are new, and most of them continue on. They find it so effective that they want to continue even after that first package. And again, we can talk more in the clarity call what exactly is included in the coaching process, but there's a specific method we'll use and work through. There's intake assessments, there's midpoint check ins, final check ins. There's so much built into this process to make it effective. Okay, next question. I'm concerned whether I'll be fully honest with myself. I don't like to get emotional, but I think that I might try to hold back my emotions too. So, well, I guess I'll start with if you want to hold back, right? It's ultimately up to you. Just like I'm sure you've heard in others before, you will get as much as you put out into the experience. So if you want to, let's say be closed to with 30% of what you share, then maybe your results will reflect that, right? But maybe you're okay with that. Maybe that's what you want to do, and that's comfortable for you, and that feels like a fit. And that's okay. But if you wanna just lay it all out, make sense of it all, like, that's when I would say it generates the, biggest changes, biggest shifts. But I wouldn't this isn't something I would be worried about, right? We are creating such a safe, judgment-free zone, one where you can share, one that where we, not only dig into some of your challenges, but we actually, make sense of them and can I, lay them down at Jesus's feet and understand a bit more about what to do with certain things, right? And that when there's purpose and direction, that really changes the way things feel, right? And so just know you'll be challenged, but in a good way, in a healthy way, in a way that feels right for you. I would say, it's maybe weird talking about your gifts or strengths, but I would say that is something that I am skilled at, is supporting you, challenging you to dig deeper than you would on your own, but in a way that feels natural and supported. Okay. Next one is more than concerns. I just want to be able to exceed my own expectations and enjoy the journey. Ah, I love it. So if you stay focused, again, this process works. Like you will see a big change. You'll see massive change. It is so, so powerful. Um, I would, if you haven't jumped to gracebasedchristiancoaching.com/testimonials, there are a couple of videos from past clients. There are countless client testimonials sharing how their Christian coaching experience has changed them. If you'd rather tune in through podcast, if you'll look for the episode on chicken soup is in the title. That's some success stories with clients. There have just been I mean, countless ways that God has worked, and I want that for you. I don't want you to miss out on it. So if you enjoy growth, you enjoying just being released from things that are holding you back, you're going to love this journey. I think it's just going to bless you in the best of ways. And one of the things that virtually everyone says at the end of it, their favorite part is their strengthened relationship with God, how it just looks different than they could have ever imagined. And that the value in that is just unmatched. Okay, how am I going to fit this into my schedule? This will be a time commitment. I'm worried about not being able to keep my commitments or finding time I need to make this process worthwhile. This is a really big one. We kind of touched on this, just like anything else, choosing to make your coaching a priority. It's important. Um, it is. It's important, but there's a lot built into the process that will make it feel natural and normal, and you don't really have to think about it. Again, coaching sometimes is just as much about simplifying, determining what to say no to, but then between our regular sessions, worksheets, following up at the start of a session to talk progress, ability in some packages to check in with me between sessions, the way the process is built out, it's, foolproof, honestly, in lots of ways. And there's so many opportunities to get the support you need to make it effective. It's just, and I've got specific tips and tricks that I can share too along the way to really just use this time and use it well. How do I create sustainability or maintain results? And how can I afford coaching for longer? Love how forward thinking this person is. So, yeah, coaching, it's going to help you to try out new ways of thinking, different ways of approaching challenges, being solution oriented. People start to say, they're like, I feel like I can hear you asking a next question to me when I'm in a certain tough situation. A lot of clients, too, like our 6-month program, to be able to work together over an extended period of time to create habits with lasting and deep impact. So that helps with sustainability. Most clients too do love to continue on and sustainment session packages. And so we've got some more flexibility in what the packages look like if you're a continuing client. And then, I'll even coach on finance topics. Like I had mentioned in our goal setting series, there is a podcast on finance if you want to check that out as a first step. But if you want kind of coaching on how to make changes and how to really prioritize what you care about, we can talk about that. Like there's a way we can get creative. And there's just so much freedom. There's so much freedom in just submitting your life to Christ in so many areas, financially included. Okay, next question. Will it be worth the money? There's a concern about spending money, wanting to become debt free, making sure it's a good investment and that it works. I love that and I appreciate and value that. You want to spend your money wisely. You want to make sure you achieve what you set out to achieve. So maybe the question I would ask here are getting clear on if we were to work together, what would your top goals be for coaching? What are at least 3 things you would want to accomplish? And if we were to do that, what's that worth to you? What's that worth to you? So there's a good chance it may be worth a lot more even than what the coaching package is going for. You're going to create massive change in areas that really matter and impact all facets of your life. You're going to have a different way of thinking. You're going to get results. You're going to stop spinning your wheels. You're just going to have so much freedom in what directs your life and what you spend your time in. And the output is going to be just so special, so valuable. Again, check out our our testimonials to read more about that, but don't see that as a concern. I think you're going to get above and beyond what you would expect. But again, don't, I mean, read those testimonials, read what clients are saying. That I think is the ultimate seeing what people who have gone through it are experiencing. Okay, my main concern is that my goals might be too lofty or not concrete enough. I need to better clarify what I want, what I need, if that's feasible. How do I make that happen? And accountability. So, I mean, that question in and of itself, like, is the essence of coaching, right? We determine what is and isn't realistic. The process is tailored to you. That's what we figure out. We figure out, what do you need? Why do you need it? How do you get from here to there? I've heard it said that coaching is getting you from where you are to where you want to be. Christian coaching getting you from where you are to where God wants you to be. So yeah, I think that question just in its essence is, what is coaching? That's what we do. And then last but not least, my biggest concern is being scared of change. I've never really been great at it, but I think the mindset shifts will be most challenging for me. Maybe even digging tough will be challenging. We create a safe space for you to do this. It doesn't have to be scary. The hope is that this is going to feel good. This is going to be exciting. You might even be shocked with the things that you say that you're going to do or want to do through this coaching process. I've seen it happen time and time again. I'll prompt you with deep and powerful questions. You are going to have support and be empowered to just make big change beyond your wildest dreams. And I think that's the coolest thing too. When it's beyond what you can kind of envision, it almost is like that underline that it's from God, when it's just bigger than you could have even imagined on your own. And that's so rewarding. So those are the top concerns that typically come up. And so I hope that I addressed any questions that you had had, that you feel just you have a better understanding of what the coaching process looks like, a better understanding of whether it is for you. If it is, I would love to invite you to apply for a clarity call. You can do that by heading to gracebasechristiancoaching.com/book online, or just head to our homepage and it's the book online tab, and you'll see a link to apply for a clarity call there. And we can figure out if you would be a good fit and go from there. So that would be your next step. I hope that I get to meet a few of you after this episode and just look forward to serving you. It is such a special process, and there's so much hope and availability of just change on the other side of all this in the best of ways, to just live your most focused and Christ-centered life. And I would love to be a part of that for you and helping to make that happen. Okay, friend. Well, thank you so much for joining us again today. And as always, look forward to next time. Thanks for tuning into this episode of the Fruitful Faith Women on Mission podcast. If you love this episode, I would love for you to subscribe. New episodes will automatically show up on your phone when you subscribe. It's super convenient, and you'll make sure you never miss a thing. So excited to share more with you soon.